Happy New Year. Thank you. This is the third meeting I've been tonight. I have 4.
You can sit back down there, old buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I could have done that, then put my arm around you.
It's been 2 weeks before.
Is that
This is the turkey I actually brought my table into.
You're really sad.
So are you going to benediction?
Yeah. My turn. I get 2 a year.
Jason, it's time.
But I don't think I'll stay tonight.
If we could have the camera, please. I'd like to welcome everybody to the January 3rd council meeting, first one of the year. And I'd like to call the meeting to order. And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We can now have our invocation.
Let us pray. Holy and eternal God, we ask you to be with this gathering of city council members tonight. Fill us with your guiding light as we consider all the ways to better the lives of our residents. Let the care for our common property, especially the water lines, the roads, and all the infrastructure, show our concern for one another. Let the people who are planning improvements to our parks and areas of recreation provide places of enjoyment for all our residents. May we be mindful of those with disabilities as we make improvements to our facilities. Keep us ever mindful of the poor, those in need, and especially our children in all we say and do. And we ask you, Lord, to look over the fire department and police force and all the cherished servants of the city, especially our returning members of council, those newly elected, including our newly elected mayor. We bring to mind a special servant, Jim Fox of the DDA, who has died, and we ask you, Lord, to take him into your arms tonight. We make this prayer, knowing you, O God, walk with us. Amen.
Amen. Could you do me a favor and come up here, please?
What?
You up? You have been called to the principal's office. No.
Well, that's not uncommon.
I want everybody to know that this lady does wonderful work at her church, but she also does a lot of stuff for our community, and I would like to thank her, and at this time I would like to present her with the key of the city.
Oh, man!
Congratulations.
I should be getting you a church key. I'll definitely.
I got you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow.
All you do.
Mayor, could I take a picture of you too? I just got the back of your head, that's why I'm going to use it.
I have to hold my key.
Definitely. You can smile, Mayor.
Okay, well, next time.
Next time.
Thanks. Thank you so much. I know you got a lot of work to do. And I do too, so I'm going to slip out. Thanks again for everything. You guys do such good work.
Thank you for everything you do.
It is an honor.
As remarks were already said, a member of the Lincoln Park family, a longtime member of the DDA, Jim Fox, has passed away, and I just would like to give my condolences to the family. He was a true trooper for our city for a long time, and thank you for what you have all done, Jim. I'd like to thank everybody who had anything to do with the New Year's Eve party this year. The penny drop raised close to $1,000 that will be going towards the Memorial Day parade. I'd like to remind everybody, January 6th is coming Friday. The city's having a new event, and for this event, Rosa Reese Celebration We will have the biggest king cake in Michigan, brought to us by the Consulate of Mexico. It will be this Friday at the library, 1381 Southfield. Please come out and have a good time. It's from 6 to 8. And now we will move on to the consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we do roll call, please?
Councilperson Bear?
Here?
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Here.
Ross? Salcido?
Here.
Zor?
Here.
Tobin? Mayor Higgins?
Here. And I'm sorry that I did not say it, but we have 2 council people not here tonight, and let's just keep them in our thoughts, as both are having some medical issues. All right, resolved that the following items under the consent agenda be approved as presented by the mayor and council. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December 19th, 2022. Counts claims payable over $25,000. Solicit bids for the ADA doors and ramp for City Hall. Solicit bids for elevator upgrades. And adopt the poverty guidelines, exemption guidelines.
So move.
Support.
Can I call for a roll?
Councilperson Dupre?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes. Okay, the first thing on our agenda tonight will be approval of the financial policy updates. As done in November, and is seeking official council approval for these policies. The following policies are being presented to approval by capital assets policy, debt management policy fund, balance policy, and investment policy. Of these policies, 3 of the policies we had in place have been updated. Mostly they have been updated to match the practices of the Government Finance and Office Association. The resolution will have no impact on the budget. It will just keep things in line. Resolved that the mayor and council approve the capital asset policy and debt management policy, the fund balance policy, and the investment policy presented on 1/3/2003 by reference.
I'll move it for discussion.
Support.
Do we have a support?
Support.
Okay. Council President?
Yes, on page 2, I don't know if Lisa can answer this question, but it says, he or she may appoint a member or staff or consultant to assist in carrying out this mission. In regards to consultant, are you going to pay this consultant, or is this someone going to do it for free?
Which policy are you referencing right now?
The very first policy on page 1. On page 2, actually, this policy here, where the purpose to manage the debt portfolio, finance all necessary capital improvements. On the bottom, number 8. Second page, number 8.
Right here.
Okay, yep, taking a look at it.
I mean, if you're going to hire a consultant, is that going to be a charge to the city, or is this someone on staff that's going to help out?
It's typically ran on staff. It's just to keep the flexibility in there if something were to come up. If we had a major turnover and need to hire somebody to help us out, but
Thank you, that's my only question,
Yep.
thank you.
So if we have to go for a consult, do you come to the council, or is it just automatic?
Yeah, this doesn't give any authorization to hire anybody. It's just to allow us to even
All right, thank you.
discuss that.
Very extensive, so it was all right, thank you.
Any other questions? And I will call for the roll.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes. The next will be resolved that the ordinance to amend Part 2, Title 2 of the Consolidated Ordinances of the City of Lincoln Park be added to Chapter 205D entitled Emergency Services Cost Recovery, be given a third and final reading, and be adopted by title only. The City of Lincoln Park ordains the two-part codified ordinance for the City of Lincoln Park, Title 2, Chapter 205D, entitled Emergency Services Recovery, be hereby added.
I'll move on this.
I'll support.
And any questions from anybody?
Yes, I only have one question, Joanne, if you don't mind.
Sure.
In regards to this, will we get a monthly report on the fees and the charges for once every quarter, just so the council's aware of what we're charging?
We'll be able to keep you apprised of any kind of changes there.
All right.
Probably most likely on a quarterly
All right,
basis.
perfect.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Then we will call for the vote.
Councilperson Salcido.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Dupre.
Yes.
Zohr.
Yes.
Mayor Higgins.
Yes. And next on the agenda, it's the new policy and what we'll be charging for fire use. Resolved that the user fee schedule be hereby amended and including the following recovery cost for emergency services through the fire department. The Lincoln Park Fire Department equipment and personnel rate schedule. Level 3 response cost, all rates shall be charged at a 0.2 hour minimum, then per hour after. The fire department engine, $315 an hour. Fire department ladder performed aerial, $630 per hour. Special device, other, i.e. crash truck form device, $630 an hour. Emergency response truck, 1, $315 an hour. Emergency response truck 2, $315 an hour with decon. Arson task force truck, $210 an hour. Dive team truck, $210 an hour. Mutual aid trailer, $105 an hour. Command vehicle, $105 an hour. Ambulance, $160 an hour. Police car, $150 an hour. Utility vehicle, $105 an hour. Utility vehicle staged, $50 an hour. Heavy equipment rental cost plus 10%. City-Owned Equipment Act 51 rates. Special equipment, $105 an hour. City-owned warming or cooling shelters cost plus 10%. Malicious receipts and supplies cost plus 10%. Extraction, $250 an hour. Personal utilized incident firefighters, $50 an hour. Police officers, $50 an hour. Incident command or fire or police, $100 an hour. Command officers, $60 an hour. Technician trained personnel, $80 an hour. Specialist trained personnel, $80 an hour. Miscellaneous personnel, question cost. outside contractors, personnel, equipment disposal, towing, hazardous material, etc. will be at cost. So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
To the chair?
Yes.
Are these fee schedules renewed on an annual basis?
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
So would the last time we would have done this would have been a year ago then?
Well, we wouldn't have had.
Approximately.
This is new because it goes with the cost recovery ordinance.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, I will call for the vote.
Councilperson DePrey,
Yes.
Zoer,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Mayor Higgins.
Yes. And it is time for our city manager report. And I'm going to ask you, please, at this time, to give us a little report on the water main bust this weekend.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Mayor. So yeah, as some have probably seen, either on the news or through email, there was a water main break on Porter over the weekend. The complaint essentially has been that calls were being made and the break had been reported and nothing was being done. So I did a little digging into when everybody found out about it, what was going on, just to check that our processes were working. So we first found out about the main break, looks like Friday afternoon, December 30th. Calls were then made to what's called the DPS standby. This comes from the police department usually during the off hours. He went out, assessed the situation, saw that it was what they call a minor break. It was a slow leaker at the time. And due to the amount of other calls they were receiving because of the rain, they were dealing with some basement backup issues and a couple other water issues that they were trying to get a hold of. They prioritized and decided they would wait on that one. Unfortunately, the next day we also had another rather large water main break on Goddard that they had to address. And so that ended up taking precedent before they were able to even get back. Looking into it, our processes seem to be working. Perhaps there could be, as always, improvement in communication as to what's going on, so that when people do call the non-emergency line, maybe they know what's being done. But overall, it does look like the process has worked. The biggest issue is just it was prioritized among other emergencies at the time. They were able to get out. They got it done. It was about 1 a.m. this morning when they finally were able to close that one off. So, I could take questions on that now if you guys have any.
So would you say there was just a cascading effect? Not only was it a holiday weekend, but it was one thing, then a second thing, then a third thing, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, the holiday weekend, we had a lot of people who actually left town. Of course,
to be expected.
Right, they kind of lost their mind, right? Holiday weekend, so they went on vacation. But not only that, rain during that time. There is some sort of a drainage issue on that street. If you went by anytime today, you would see there are still two puddles. It's essentially the two curb lanes are filled with water still, and it's not really draining. It seems to pond right there. And then yes, there were other emergencies that came up. So,
Do we address this?
yeah, we got the water main break done. The drainage is going to be something we're going to have to look at over time. It's not something we can fix immediately. Because it typically has to do with grading and condition of the road.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Sure.
I was going to bring this up after your report, James, but since you brought up the water, I know last meeting I brought up the fact that we used to get messages from the DPS in regards to water main breaks. and those stopped. And I'm wondering why they stopped. Because I heard about the water main break on Friday, but I was unaware of the one on Goddard. So I didn't know the DPS was perhaps understaffed because of vacation, but any notification that we get, I believe is helpful, especially when you get phone calls or text messages, why is my water pressure low over here? And then we don't know where the main breaks are. So I'm wondering why we stopped the practice of being notified.
So we've ran into this a couple times. It's trying to get residents comfortable with calling departments. Sometimes information changes very frequently, and it's the best way to get accurate information is to call the department directly, as opposed to calling you guys. And truly, I say this a ton lately, any minute you guys are spending on some kind of operational thing is a minute you're not doing the big picture type stuff, which is what, really is the role of council, is to look at the big picture and to focus big picture, right? So it is an attempt to try and continue to professionalize the staff, the team, and to move in that direction.
If I just may say this one more time, I don't know why it would hurt to notify council of a water main break. I'm at work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I get a email saying there's water main break on Porter and Dix, wherever. It's good to know in case I get a text message.
And part of it, if I may, there have been times where people get left off those emails, right? This way, if we have information flowing in a proper channel, proper way, we make sure people don't get left off those emails, that things flow in the directions they're supposed to.
All right, so I'm going to propose a motion, if this is in order. I know our attorney's not here, but I'd like to make a motion that the mayor and council get email notification when there's a water main break. So I don't know if anyone wants to support that, but I just want to...
I will second that.
Okay, if I can comment, please. We were getting emails. We weren't getting for each water main break. We were getting some, though, from the supervisors, like first thing in the morning, but throughout the day, a lot of times things would happen and we wouldn't know. But...
And I will say that there are times that they are running fast and they, doesn't get done. But for the most part, when we ask them to, they do notify us. But since the change we haven't been.
Comment also, would there, I'm assuming you could give us a best practice recommendation when we do get those texts and calls from residents, and I would assume that would involve calling, instructing the resident to call the non-emergency number, knowing how to tell them to report it to the agency.
Right, absolutely.
Or proper department,
if you guys, especially after hours, if you're getting calls about a water main break somewhere, please refer them to the police non-emergency line. That way there's always a record.
Is that line always staffed, always, is it always documented?
Yeah, they keep a log. We can document through the phone logs when calls come in. We're able to backtrack and find out what happened, just like we did on this one.
I think it would be helpful to know, because I know you said we need to focus on the big picture information, but let's face it, a lot of people, they're going to come to us directly because that's who they see.
Right.
So if we know the proper next steps, that might help alleviate them doing the same thing next time.
Right, well, and letting them know, yes, there is this water main break. For more updated information, check this, especially on these big ones, right? This one wasn't a big one, but like the one a couple weeks ago in Lafayette.
Yeah.
Keep in touch with the city's Facebook page. Call the department if you have any questions, right? Because it's getting residents comfortable with understanding that there are professionals working in the city that are doing the job, and they're the ones who have up-to-date information.
Any other questions? Then I will call for the vote.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
And with that, I do want to say, and thank you to our DPS. They had a very hard Christmas break. They were out almost every night in the rain and taking care of what needs to be taken care of on Goddard, on Porter, on Cleophas, all over the place. And thank you, guys.
Moving on, just a couple quick things here. Scott Lewis is hitting his 30-year anniversary with the fire department this month. Jason Lazinskis is hitting 15 years with the police department. Those are the two big ones for the month of January. And then I just want to point out and congratulate Doug Vance, who officially retired as of January 1 from the fire department. He was with us for, I think it was 29 years, a long time. And then if you've gone around City Hall, you've seen that the window project is getting close to wrapping up. Most of the windows are in. I think they put in the last ones today. They have some final items, some cleaning up to do, some window sills they have to go in, but all in all, the windows are in, and it's noticeable, the difference in temperature in the various rooms, which is really nice. We got some big bid openings coming in the next few weeks here, the animal shelter, the police department upgrades, but that's what I have for you tonight. So if there's any other questions you guys might have from me, please go ahead and
To the chair.
Jason, our
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry.
I did want to ask about the, as far as the liquor license application from the last meeting, the letter from the chief of police, is there any way to know, would that letter have been sent to the applicant who wasn't here at that meeting? Because we did enter it into the public record.
If it would have been sent out, it would have likely come prior to the meeting, maybe from the clerk's office, if they sent anything. But, yeah.
Are we obligated to send it to him?
I hesitate
Or
to
will we
answer
just-
that without Ed here, because I don't know exactly what our obligations are, and I don't want to,
Yeah, I was,
right? I don't want to kind of pigeonhole myself into something that we're not supposed to
will
do
this-
or are supposed to do, and,
I mean,
right?
will this just be a surprise for him when he,
Well, no, because
in theory, isn't here in 2 weeks?
We have been in contact with the applicant, letting him know there were some questions, some concerns, and they are planning to be here at the next meeting when it's going to be reconsidered.
Okay, thank you.
And for people who watched the last meeting and are watching this meeting, he was invited to this meeting, but he's out of town, so he asked to come back next meeting. So that's why the 2-week delay. You're next.
To the chair, just a new business list, James, when you get a chance. The CFO list.
Right. It'll probably be the end of this week, because
Okay.
it just, month just ended.
Anybody else? Then we will move on to the department head report. This week, we have the Parks and Rec.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just have a couple of things tonight. We're still working on the master plan for the Parks Department. At the next meeting, we're going to have the public input meeting for that. That will happen during the meeting here. Our Jack Frost Jamboree, we have 2 spots left. If you know any vendors that want to get in, there's 2 more spots left. And that's going to be Friday, January 27th and Saturday, the 28th. Daddy-daughter dance tickets go on sale next Monday, and that's going to be February 11th is when the event will be held. Winter classes are starting all this week, and we are seeing numbers starting to go up in the classes again. So people are starting to come back, wanting to take part in group classes. We are looking, the staff and myself, we're looking at new spring and summer kids programming, stuff for out in the parks, sports-related programming. The pools, if you haven't seen, the pool at the community center is completely out and filled. We're just waiting on the company to get a truck over to move the excavator over to the pond pool, and then they'll have that one done. And that's all I have. Questions?
I've been asked by a lot of citizens, what are we going to put where the pool used to be? What are your plans? Do we have any plans yet?
Not as of yet. Hopefully in the master plan, we'll get some ideas on what we're looking to do with that site and with the park as a whole.
Okay, and the other one I keep getting asked about is the rollerblade park.
I've been talking with John and James about some different ideas on what we're going to do with that. As of right now, we're going to, it's up in the air what we're doing with it right now.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else have anything?
Does the smaller pool in the park, the community center park,
Yes.
don't we have a wave pool or something
Yep.
like that? And we're supposed to get rid of that too, correct?
No,
What are we doing there?
that one was not coming out. We're going to take that one out as part of a splash pad project. We didn't want to disturb any water lines or sewer lines that we may need,
Okay, thank you.
so.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
All right.
We'll go with the oral reports of the council. Oh, I'm sorry, citizens communications. Do we have anybody? Going once, going twice? Okay, I was right, we are going to the oral reports next. Council President, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make it brief. During the holiday season, I did hit a couple of businesses here in Lincoln Park. La Finca Restaurant on Capitol and 4th Street. You need to check that out. Good food. Also, Pancho's Restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants on Dixon, near Outer Drive. Celebrity Silver, I dropped in there. Direct Car Care, they worked on my car, unfortunately. And A&R Music, I stopped in there for some business also. So always try to hit Lincoln Park first if you can when you go shopping. Thank you, Your Honor, that's all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Dupre.
I would like to wish everybody a happy 2023. We have a lot of work to do this year, and we're looking forward to seeing what this year brings. And with that, I'll say good night and God bless.
Okay, Councilman Bear.
Similar thoughts as Tracy. I hope everyone had a very safe and happy holiday season and are looking forward to seeing what the new year brings. That's all.
Councilman Zor.
I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody, and I want to thank the Assessor's Office for being extremely informative and letting me know, catching me up as much as you could. Truly appreciated it. Very informative, very knowledgeable, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, the last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to remind, I said it at the first start at the meeting, this Friday at the library, the Mexican Consulate will be there with Michigan's biggest king cake in Michigan, and I'm told this cake is delicious. So, Friday from 6 to 8, come on out and have some cake and some hot chocolate. And with that, I move to, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Support.
Can you call the roll?
Councilperson Dupre?
Yes.
Salcedo?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Zor?
Yes.
Mayor Higgins?
Yes.